Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Hello and welcome to this Friday Tipping Postcast. I'm Maddie Plell, joined in the studio by tipping maestros Paul Keeley and Tom Collins. We've got Niall O'Reilly from Paddy Power on the line as well. Lads, last week was fabulous, 178 to 1 nap treble I think it was in the end, so fabulous work from last week's panel. We're going to try and emulate it this week, starting off with Cheltenham on Saturday of course. First off, the 12:40 JCB Triumph Hurdle, Juvenile Hurdle. Can Never Adapt make it 3 in a row for JP McManus in this race? Keels, start us off.
Who knows? No idea. I mean, I gather he's a slight shade of odds on. She actually ran and won a hurdle race in March as a 3-year-old. I mean, she was running before our classic generation that had their first runs in 3-year-old campaign. I mean, that's how they do it in France. She runs in a first-time hood. I don't know whether she ran in a hood in France because they don't declare them, so I couldn't find any video evidence. So, but it is total guesswork, and you know that you've got a JP McManus, Nicky Henderson. Let's put it in as Fav. And see what the market does. And the only thing I look at is breeding-wise, she's by Anabar Blue, who's best by an absolute mile horse over jumps, is the lunatic that is Charlie Parks and the big disappointment. And you know, to me, I think this is not going to be an Apple Shakira who won the race last year. I'd be taking it on. The one that interests me is Jane Williams, Montestrel, who won a decent race at Chepstow first time up. The second and third both won by 12 lengths next time. The third went in again as well at Ludlow the other day. Now the Williams family have run some decent horses in this race. They won it with Pistolet Noir in about 2009. They ran Rev de Civila in the race. They ran Coustar Civila in the race. It was second 3 years ago. And this one, you know, is bred for jumping. I mean, it's probably going to be a staying chaser in time. But I just think he's probably got the best form as things stand.
Okay.
About was it 9 to 2, Niall? I think were you?
Yeah, let's get a full roll call of the prices now.
Yeah, Never Adapt is our 10 to 11 favourite. Cracker Factory is 7 to 2. Quell de Stan is 9 to 2. Montestrel is 9 to 2. Cap Holly 25 to 1. 50 to 1. That Italian name that I'll not pronounce and Needs to Be Seen is 66 to 1.
Yeah, so Tom, obviously Never Adapt, we don't know how good she could be, but Cracker Factory, Montestrel, the likes, they bring proven form into the race. Who's your selection?
Yeah, I think that Chepstow piece of form is quite strong with Montestrel and Quell de Stan, and I think they'll probably fight out the finish, to be fair. Never Adapt. The form's not very good. The second got stuffed. I know she won by miles, but the second got stuffed next time out. The third's a 5-race maiden. Hood first time, 10 to 11 doesn't really spark any interest in me. I think Montestrel is probably the value play. Quell de Stan's a solid horse in the race. And
Niall, I'll go over to you for the final verdict.
Yeah, it's difficult to have an opinion on this. The one thing I will say is that we were laying plenty of Never Adapt for the Triumph Hurdle a couple of weeks ago. So the word would obviously get out that she's very good. I'm still going to take her on at the price. The one I like is Quell de Stan. Now I know he was beaten by Montestrel, but he's just electric over his hurdles. And I thought he improved next time with Kempton. So yeah, I'm not overly confident both side of him at the prices.
Okie dokie, moving on to the 115 MallardJewelers.com Novices Chase. The World's End, I was really impressed with him on chasing debut at Chepstow. I think if he stands up, I don't know, I think it'll be hard to beat. What does the market say now?
Yeah, the World's End is our 4 to 5 favourite. Manila Awards is 9 to 2. Ibis Daru is 11 to 2. Shannon Bridge 7 to 1. Theatre Territory 10 to 1. And Bryn Mawr is 16 to 1.
Paul Keeley, you taking the Fav on?
I tend to in these circumstances. I mean, look, you can't fault the World's End. He was really good, and the horse he beat, whose name I've forgotten, something McGinty or something, was
McGinty, yeah.
That's it. Was really progressive over hurdles last season. So it looks a solid piece of form, and he looked an absolute natural. I just wonder. Theatre Territory interests me down the bottom, getting £12. She's got some cracking handicap form from last season. I mean, she was only beaten 11 3/4 by Mr. Whittaker when Mr. Whittaker was rated 129. He's now 152. She was third in the old race in Post Chase as well. She's got some, rock solid form. If there was 8 runners, I'd be having a decent each way bet on her. I know she's only rated 132 and the World's End is 155, but I think she's supremely well handicapped. They might ruin it by running in this race, but I think she'll run a big race.
Okay, TC, we were discussing how we think the World's End's a pretty good horse last night.
Yeah, just think he's going to hack up, really, isn't he? He's the best horse in the race. Comes out by far the best on ratings. I backed Manolo Ward's last time in the 2-runner race, but didn't beat anything because the Skelton horse didn't jump. Just think it wins easily. Not really a betting prospect for me at 4 to 5, I think it was, but I think it wins easily. Okay,
nicely done. Niall, back to you.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to take the World's End on. I just don't think he's that good personally. He's a little bit disappointing over hurdles last season for me. Similar to Keels, I'm going to go with Theatre Territory, who gets £9 off the top 2 in the market. She's had a wind up, and although she's plenty to find, as Keels said, I do think she's really well handicapped, so I think she's better than that mark, and at the prices, she's definitely the one for me.
Okay, 2 votes for Theatre Territory, then we're going to motor on through because there's lots to cover. The 150 BetVictor.com Handicap Chase Grade 3. It will be good to see Coney back if he does run. So what are our fancies for this one? I'll go to you first this time, TC.
Hopefully a quick Tom George double. I'm going against everything I believe in with single farm payment, which is never to back him because he doesn't win very often at all. Hasn't won since January 2016, in fact. But he goes really well fresh, 213-day layoff, should be fine. Tom George will prime him for this race. He stays the trip well. Better off at the weights with Coggrey for a 4-length defeat first time out last season. He can win off this rating of 146, and he loves Cheltenham. So hopefully Noel Feely, who doesn't actually ride for Tom George that often, but has got a good level stakes profit, can get the job done.
Love Noel Feely. Niall, just some betting on this one?
Yeah, single farm payment is their 6 to 1 favourite. Coggrey 13 to 2. The young master who actually just ran there, he'll probably not run. He's 6 to 1 at the moment though. Vicenta is 8 to 1. Rock the Casbah 8 to 1. Calip Mad 8 to 1 and 10 to 1 bar.
Yeah, and your selection now?
Yeah, I'm actually very interested in one for Sue Smith here in Sharp Response. Just looking at the recent winners of this race, I think what you're really looking for is like an unexposed 7-year-old who has the potential to improve for these marathon trips, and I think that's exactly what he is. He bolted up last time at Carlisle. He won by about 9 lengths, and while that wasn't the strongest race, he did it at a time when Sue Smith's horses were she was struggling for winners. So I think he can improve on that again. Adam Wedge takes the ride, and funnily enough, I've had 3 winning naps in these podcasts, and he's ridden them all, so he's actually one of my favourite jockeys at the moment. And I'm hoping he does the business again for me tomorrow.
Okay, Keels, as you're watching the live racing from Cheltenham.
Yeah, I've got it up on my screen. Got it up on my screen. You can't miss a race at Cheltenham, can you? Even if you have to work through it. Yeah, I mean, the one I'm most interested in is Calip Mad. I just think his shape's like an out-and-out stayer, and now he gets a proper marathon trip to run it. He won 3.25 mile over hurdles at Musselburgh Soft Ground last year. I thought he ran really well when fought to Relentless Dreamer here at the last meeting. He will stay, absolutely convinced he will. He'll go close. One that half interests me, just given how well Colin Tizard's horses are running, is Royal Vacation, who is now back to the same mark as when he won by an absolute mile at the trials meeting a couple of seasons ago as a novice. He's obviously, he was a lucky Grade 1 winner when Mike Bite fell in the Feltham a couple of years ago, but he's rated 143 now. He had a wind operation in the middle of the last season, didn't seem to work at the 2 festivals, but he's coming back in, a much lower class race, and he might just go well at a decent price.
Yeah, as you say, stable in form. Moving on to the big one, the 225 BetVictor Gold Cup. Keels, you've got a really strong fancy in this one, so take it away.
I have, yeah. I mean, this race was won by a complete rag last year in Splash of Ginge, but I don't see where that's coming from, because I think the top 3 in the betting are all pretty solid. You've obviously got the front 2 from the Close Brothers novice handicap last year, Mr. Whitaker and Rather Be being £9 better off. Both will like the decent ground. Mr. Whitaker won at Carlisle, but I mean, I just kept looking at this race for weeks and weeks and weeks, kept coming back to Colondra. This horse is just supremely well handicapped, has to be. He's got pretty much everything you want in a horse for this race. He's won first time out, as he did last year. He's got cracking form at this track. Gave Kustar Civil a £5 and a near 4-length beating at the December meeting last year. He then ran 3rd to Traffic Fluid when he hit in the front far too soon in April. Traffic Fluid won off a £9 higher mark at Ascot in a 100-gram race only a couple of weeks ago. And then he ran at Galway, and ran at Galway in a conditions chase. It was a 10-runner race, run at a fair clip, and he was just moved into 3rd, going well, going to the 2nd last, and overjumped and fell. Now, the two last fences of Galway are very close together, and there's a long run, and you don't really know what would have happened. But my guess is he'd have finished somewhere between the winner, who was Sub-Lieutenant, and the runner-up, who was Sandy Mount Duke. Now, those two are rated 158 and 155, and Colondra was giving them £7. Now, had he stood up, he would be rated £10 higher than he is now. And I think he's got to have been primed for this. absolutely from the start, from since then. And Neil Mulholland said, they're going to try and hold on to him for a little bit longer. He's a really strong traveller. I just think he has to run a really, really big race.
You'd have to think the ground would suit as well. Niall, what's the money come for in this race?
Well, Rather Be is our 9-2 favourite, and there's been plenty for him. Mr. Whitaker is 6-1. Calandra, Keel's fancy, is 13-2. Benatar 9-1 and 10-1 bar. The one I really like here is Benatar, and I actually think he could go off favourite personally. His run last year in the JLT, I thought was one of the most eye-catching runs of the whole festival. He just tanked through the whole race, was way too keen, and it's just a credit to him to stick on as well as he did for third, finishing in front of the likes of Finian's Oscar and Modus. He's a brilliant jumper. He's just an out-and-out chaser, and I think the fast pace that they're likely to get here will help him settle, hopefully. He's had a spin this season at Newton Abbot where he was admittedly a little bit disappointing, but it just looked a pure spin, and I'm hoping that would have knocked the freshness out of him. He's the only one in the field that I could really see going on to win a Grade 1, like potentially something like the Ryanair. So if 149, I just think he has to go close. Jamie Moore obviously rides him over Baron Alco as well, which is just another pointer that they really fancy Benatar. I think anything above 10-1 should be snapped up.
Okay, nice and confident there. I love Benatar, but as you say, that's a slight worry if he'll settle or not. Tom Collins?
Well, it looks hugely competitive on paper with 20 runners, but I'm in the same boat as Keels insofar as I think it will be dominated by those at the head of the market. Calandra's got a massive chance, and I'll probably have a saver on Calandra. Strong traveller, and will probably tank there like the best horse in the race, coming 2-2 out. But I've been with Rather Be for a few weeks now. Price is gone, but he's got an incredible record when fresh, won 4 times from 6 starts. Should be 5 times, but unseated on his debut. The ground is a welcome change as well. Good ground. He's been running on soft and heavy, but prefers quicker conditions. Still improving. Henderson's been raving about him. I think he should win, but 9-2 is a bit short.
Okay, next race we're going to look at is the 3 o'clock, the Regulatory Finance Solutions Handicap Hurdler listed race. First assignment, won at this track over 2 mile 5 last time, but I'm really interested in one called Weeble. We'll be interested to see how the market rates them, Niall.
Yeah, this is our money back race as well, so it's money back if second the first assignment. And I forgot to mention we're actually 7 places in the BetVictor Gold Cup. So
excellent.
Yeah, plenty of value there. In this race, first assignment is our 2-1 favourite. Boyhood is 5-1. Wee Bill is 11-2. Anteros is 7-1. The Eagle has landed is 8-1. It's 10-1 bar.
Okay, Paul Keeley.
Yeah, fascinating race. I'm not convinced about any of the ones at the front of the market, to be honest. I mean, first assignment, I don't think that was a brilliant race at Cheltenham last time. Obviously won it and got and has got a reasonable chance on that. Wee Bill, who you mentioned, I mean, he just didn't need to improve to win that race last time, but the handicapper whacked him with £9. And I'd be surprised if he's good enough to win off 132 based on that. Boyhood, I think, wants softer ground, so I'm interested in one. Buckle Street doesn't have the most inspiring form figures next to his name, but he's been steadily improving this autumn on those figures, and he's only £1 higher than when he won at Doncaster last year. He's owned by locals, trained by Martin Keithley, who sticks him in first-time blinkers. And I think something like 5 of the last 12 horses Keithley has run in first-time blinkers have won.
Nice.
He's a 5-year-old who stays really, really well, and yeah, I think he's got a sneaky each-way chance at a big price.
Okay, Tom.
I'm going to also stick to those down the bottom of the handicap. I think I backed first assignment last time, but like Hill said, I don't think it was a great race, to be fair. I don't think he had to do much out of the ordinary. Wee Bill's a bit keen for my liking in races. Boyhood needs softer ground, as Kiel said. But I like Anteros. I was there 12 months ago at Cheltenham on the day, horrific weather, and I actually backed Anteros to beat Thomas Campbell that day, which in hindsight was a bit stupid. But Anteros looked like he was actually going to win the race coming to 2 out, and then travelled well round the bend, and then just got outstayed to line by a better horse. This looks an easier contest. There's no Thomas Campbell in there, in my opinion. Sophie Leach targets him at the race, won the race in 2016 as well, and should go well at a price. Yeah,
loves the track. Niall, over to you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Maddie. I'm very keen on Wee Bill here for Ollie Murphy. He's just been crying out for 3 miles. All he does is stay, in my opinion. Now, like Keel said, a market 132 is no gimme. Though it's the amount I think he'll improve for the trip that makes him still well handicapped for me. First assignment's obviously Fav, but yeah, I thought that looked a weak race as well, and he only just got up. Wee Bill only has to give him £2, and in my opinion, he has far more potential. And with Richard Johnson booked, I think he'll take all the beating.
He was very green early on in his career. I think he's quite progressive. The 3:30 Cheltenham Club Intermediate Handicap Hurdle sees a really interesting horse, Speedo Boy, run a lot on the flat. I think he ran last in the Cesarewitch, take on the likes of Point of Principle. He ran really well at Chepstow. Niall, over to you for the betting.
Yeah, Speedo Boys are 130 favourite. West End Story is 5-1. Point of Principle is 8-1. Christmas in April is 9-1. I Write 10-1 and 12-1 bar.
Yeah, Christmas in April, third in that race behind First Assignment. We were just talking about Tom Collins. A fancy from you?
Speedo Boy's the obvious one, isn't he? Well treated, off 118, considering he's rated 98 on the flat. 2 mile 5 looks very suitable. He's been running over 2 miles when going hurdling, and I don't think that's suited him ideally. Tongue tie, slight concern. I'm not sure why that's been fitted, but if it sparks any improvement, he's obviously the one. Christmas in April is the joker in the pack potentially for an informed Colin Tizard yard. He ran really well last time out. I know I just said it wasn't the strongest race, but this doesn't look the strongest race either, in my opinion. I don't know. It's not a betting affair to me, to be honest.
Okay, Keels, do you agree?
Yeah, it wasn't a race that I thought was one that I'd be massively interested in. But the thing about Speedo Boy, I mean, he's running off 118 and he's 98 on the flat. But if you watched him jump last year, he needs to have been taught how to jump since. And that worries me because it's a big field, right? And if he starts getting it wrong, it will just all go wrong. So I mean, I wouldn't be getting involved with him at short prices. A horse that might turn out to be very well handicapped is the top weight West End Story. Now he threatened a lot at the beginning of his career. He was 5th in the champion bumper to Ballyandy, and his next season was a bit of a write-off, and he's just been a bit of a baby really, but he was starting to grow up last year, and he comes into this race having absolutely hacked up on his final start last season. I know it was only a novice, but off a mark of 137, he is potentially a lot better than that. And now that Philip Hobbs is absolutely flying, you know what I mean, I think he's a double-figure price, or quite close to it, and I think I'd take a chance on him.
Okay, Niall?
Yeah, I got heavily involved in this race. I really like West End Story. Yeah, he was really eye-catching the champion bumper a few years ago, and I think tomorrow's the day that he'll finally start to fulfil his potential. Now, he's a slightly disappointing fab in his last start in a handicap, but he was 6 lengths behind Stole Emotion, who I think is rated something like £20 higher now, so he just ran into one that day. West End Story ran last at Hereford, where he was 15 lengths in front of Ligon Rock, giving him £6. Now, Ligon Rock runs here, I think, and he is rated 125, so it still points towards West End Story, looking fairly treated off 137. So yeah, he's the one for me.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick break now, but stay with us. We're going to look at Lingfield next.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Welcome back to this Friday tipping postcast. As promised, we're going to look at Lingfield now, the 245 on the poly track, of course, the Betway Churchill Stakes. It's a listed race. We've got a Dabe in there. Lots of questions I think he's got to answer, although he is the best horse in the race. Does the market reflect that, Niall?
Yeah, Dabe is our 13-8 favourite. Scarlet Dragon is 11-2. Master of the World is 5-1. Big Country 6-1. Sparkplug 8-1. Primero 10-1 and 12-1 bar.
TC, I don't think you said you could see Adair beaten, but he's got to prove that he likes the surface. Isn't he usually better on soft ground as well?
Yeah, you're right. He needs to prove he likes the surface, and he is better on soft ground, but he's an absolute banker in my opinion. Haggis yards in flying form. Doyle's booked. He rode his 150th winner of the year, I think 2 days ago. He's £10 better than anything in the race. He's by far the best horse. Nice draw. He's a winner.
He's a winner, nice and simple. Keels Master World won this last year. Are you going to be getting too involved?
Look, it's Cheltenham's on, so I don't tend to get too involved anywhere else. But I mean, I actually backed him for the QE2. I mean, he is a very, very good horse, but he's now run well over, a stone below his best on 2 starts, and his last 2 starts this season. One was ages ago, but there was no real excuse for being, basically tailed off at Ascot last time. And he's given £7 away, and he's under 2-1. I mean, he's just the sort of horse that I would take on at a short price. And Master of the World, he won this 12 months ago. He got awarded the Lingfield Derby as well. So he does act really well around the track. If we get a decent pace for him to chase, which Big Country might set. And the Maverick Wave's gone forward in the past as well, isn't it? So I think he's solid. How many runners we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, each way better than nothing.
There we go. Niall, final word from you.
Yeah, I'm only just after having a look at this race about an hour ago, and I couldn't believe the price of a Dabe. I've seen 9-4 in places. Now, he's disappointing last time, but he went off 15-2 in the QE2, and previous to that he went off 7-2 favourite for the Group 1 Lockinge. When you look at the second favourite in this race, Master of the World, he'd be about 150-1 in both them races. Now, I know he was disappointing last time, but given he went off that price and the fact he's trained by Haggis, I'm just going to put a line through that run. He's obviously much better than that. Looking at it, I think he could go off odds on here. This just does not look a good race, and he looks far clearer for me. So yeah, I'll definitely be backing him.
Okay, the 3:15 is the Betway Golden Rose Stakes, another listed race, competitive sprinting affair. How does the market act on this one, Niall?
Yeah, so Gifted Masters are 3-1 favourite. Corinthian Knight is 4-1. Intisab is 6-1. Above the rest is 8-1. Muttmere 8-1. Encrypted 8-1 and 10-1 Bar.
Yeah, this is personally the sort of race that I just find impossible. Have you got the answer, Tom Collins?
Well, Gifted Master's a favourite horse of mine. He won at Goodwood at 20-1 when Jason Watson rode him in a big handicap, and since then I've been in love with him. I think the wide draw is not really a concern. He's a forward-going type. He'll sit on the shoulder of Corinthian Knight and pounce around the bend. James Doyle, I think, quick-fire double at Lingfield.
What do you reckon, Keels?
I think he might make the running like he did last year. Didn't he make all last year from a wide draw? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Chase Leard is soon clear of field. Yeah, he's definitely the one to beat. I just think Corinthian Knight loves the all weather. Likes Lingfield. Won both his starts down. Trap 2 might be able to follow him round and pick him up. But it wouldn't surprise me if Gifted Master made all.
Okay, Niall.
Gifted Master seems to be well treated on these terms, but I don't really like the draw. It's just enough to put me off backing him. The one I'm going to chance each way is above the rest. Now, probably the most impressive performance of his career came over 6 furlongs on the all-weather. And although he concedes weight all round, I just think this could set up nicely for him with Gifted Master coming across. I think he's the each way bet in the race. Okay,
before we move on, any other fancies on Saturday, Tom?
Just one really at Lingfield again. I love my flat, so sticking there away from Cheltenham.
Oh, how can you say that?
Sorry.
Disgrace.
I like My Target in the 135 at Lingfield. He's been running poorly on the turf, but absolutely hates the turf, to be honest. I'm not sure why Michael Wigan really runs him on there, apart from to get the handicap mark down. Back to the favoured all-weather, £10 lower than when he last won. Just doesn't look the strongest race and should get back to form, I think.
And Niall?
Yeah, just won the 7:15 Wolverhampton. Miss Liberty Bell ran a very eye-catching race on debut for William Jarvis, and I think could be interesting here. She missed a break, ran green before staying on late, and got a sectional upgrade in the process. There's some big stables represented here, so I'm hoping for a decent price, maybe 8-1 or bigger.
Excellent. Now let's get your Saturday naps.
This will not be beaten.
Keels, you first.
Yeah, 225 Cheltenham, Caloundra. All roads lead to Caloundra.
All roads lead to Caloundra, TC.
In the true Steve Palmer fashion, this will not be beaten. A Dave, 245 Lingfield.
Nice. And Niall?
150 Cheltenham, sharp response.
Brilliant. We'll be back just after this.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and a grand up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.
Welcome back. We're going to look at Cheltenham on Sunday now, starting off with the 1:15 Steve and Stu Iverson Happy Retirement Conditional Jockeys at Handicap Hurdle. Apologies for that. I found this quite interesting. One really stuck out to me, and that was Palmer's Hill. But what does the market say, Niall?
We actually don't have prices for this one, Maddie, sorry.
Oh, I thought you said you had prices for everything.
I thought we did, yeah, sorry.
Oh, what a disgrace. Anyway, we can discuss it anyway. What do you think? Have you had a look at the race in detail yet?
Yeah, just one just jumped off the page at me, Vaneto, off a lowly mark of 124. Now, he had a spin over 3 miles recently, which he definitely doesn't say. So I'd imagine they'd be lining him up for this. The trip here is a small concern, but in a really weak-looking race, I think he's worth chancing off that mark.
He's a tricky old customer, isn't he, Vaneto? Keels?
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that he's gone. I mean, I've gone to the well with him far too often, Vaneto. So I wouldn't want to back him, but I don't blame you for not having priced this up, because it is, it is the weak link of the entire card, isn't it? Really, over the whole weekend. One that interests me is Top Weight Follow the Bear for Nicky Henderson. Like I said, I don't think this is a good race. I don't think he stayed 3 mile last time. I think dropping back to 2 mile 5 will go, and he is well handicapped on the pick of his best form from last season. So I'd take a chance on him.
Final say to Tom Collins.
God, it's a tough race, isn't it? Really. the Della Checkout's the one that stands out. First time back from a wind up, only had 4 starts. Good ground will be a massive plus. Been running on heavy. God, I'm going to be there and I'm going to just watch it, I think.
Okay, and moving on to the 150 Racing Post Arkle Trophy Trial Novices Chase. This is an absolute cracker. I'm really looking forward to this. Claiming taken Vaughan, I believe he's the current favourite, Niall.
He is. He's 9-4 favourite. Defi Du Soy is 11-4. Dynamite Dollars is 7-2. Lawler is 5-1. Pink Shoe 6-1, and One for Billy is 11-1.
Yeah, Keels, so Chesterfield, he's sort of run well since finishing behind Claiming taken Vaughan on his chasing debut. I'm a big fan of Laylaw and I love Ping Shoe as well, so I don't know where I'm going to go. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, looking at this, it's a 6-runner race. Claiming taken Vaughan's the favourite, and I would be surprised if by the end of the season he's the 5th best horse out of these 6 horses. And I'm definitely going to take him on. Yes, he beat Chesterfield, he done it well enough. Chesterfield came out and finished 3rd at Carlisle to Highway 101, who was absolutely slammed by Dynamite Dollars the time before. 9 lengths at Market Race, and Dynamite Dollars jumped beautifully and ran away from him, and no fuss whatsoever. He's trained by Paul Nicholls. He's won 6 of the last 10 run-ins of this. I think he's got a fantastic chance. He's definitely better than the 146 rating that he's given. We have no idea about Defi Du Soy. I don't see how anybody can back him yet. Obviously, with Philip Hobbs in great form, you can take the chance. Lalo, I think, will probably need it. And, long term, you're thinking fast run Grand Annual, something like that. Maybe even a red
I love the smile on your face.
Maybe even a red run at Aintree. The Novices. It's a horse that travels really strongly and is going to want a decent pace in a big field, isn't it? And Ping Shoe could still be anything. Obviously, he had a long layoff, but was a very decent hurdler. But yeah, for me, I think that I would make Dynamite Dollars favourite based on that Market Race and Run and on what Highway 101. Highway 101 won, Chesterfield was 3rd, Dolos was 2nd, and he's rated 150. You know what I mean? And Dynamite Dollars made mincemeat of him.
Yeah, Dolos horse that does not like winning.
Well, he doesn't like winning, no, but he still runs to a good level of form without winning,
Indeed, he does. Tom Collins.
Please don't mention Dolos around me after the recent 2nd place effort, which cost me a fair bit. But yeah, no, I think Ping Shoe's by far the best horse in the race. Obviously, the massive layoff is the one doubt. I think by the end of the season, he would destroy these if all of these met again. Dynamite Dollars, I echo Keel's sentiments. I think he's probably the most likely winner Sunday, should I say. Claiming taken Vaughan's not for me. Defi Du Soy's gone at the game. Layla's going to need a run, and One for Billy. Well, thank God there's not that little bit of tape, so he can run out again. Because that, oh God, if I was the owner of One for Billy or the Irish horse, I can't pronounce its name, when they ran out last time, God, I'd be irate, I think. So thank God they've replaced that little bit of tape. Yeah,
good way to say that, irate. No, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's not really a betting race for me. I've been reading plenty of strong reports about Defi Du Soy, and it's just enough for me to side with him. Claiming taken Vaughan is a horse I really like, but I'm just convinced he needs further to be at his best, and he could be vulnerable to Defi if he's anywhere near his best.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can return to form. Moving on to the 225 Schlur Chase. Fox Norton's won the last 2 runnings of this, but he doesn't turn up. A lot of other horses don't turn up either, so that possibly leaves the door open for So Royal Keels. Or are you going to chance something at a bigger price?
Well, I chanced something at a bigger price this morning before the decks came out. Unfortunately, it didn't get declared. That was Special Chiara, who had Noel Feely booked. And I thought, well, crikey, he's going to get his ground in this race for the first time and have a fantastic chance. But yeah, for some reason, he didn't get declared. So Royal, yeah, I mean, you had to love the way he won the Scilly Isles last year. Or the Henry, whichever one it was at Sandown.
Henry,
he looked brilliant that day, and fantastic horse. But he's been off for nearly a year, isn't he? So how fit is he going to be? Like, does he want the ground this fast? Then we've got brain power. I mean, he's just a nutter, isn't he? He finished 2nd in the Arkle only because he was picking up the pieces. He jumped terribly. Petit Mouchoir and St Calvados went off miles too fast, and all he did was plod on to 2nd, and miles behind footpad. So
takes us to Le President.
So it takes us to Le President, who has won over course and distance, bolted up in the Grand Annual last season. Might want the ground a bit soft in this, but has some good ground form. 2nd at Silver Streak in the Welsh Champion Hurdle on his first run this season. That was his best run over hurdles by an absolute country mile. So you know that he is in form, fit, and he might just be the one.
Okay, Tom Collins?
Keels and I are reading off the same sheet, I think, because I'm all over Le President here. Race fitness is a massive, massive plus, and I think Silver Streak's a proper good horse as well for Evan Williams. So I think that piece of form is really, really quite good. Good form over course and distance. So Royale, I think it needs softer, really. I don't really like backing horses like him first time up. Brain Power just can't jump. If he sorted out his jumping, I reckon he should be odds on for this race personally. He's by far the best horse, got the biggest engine.
But he wants a flat track.
Yeah, it's true.
Some jumping lessons, which he might have had.
Hopefully, yeah. And a wind up may be the catalyst of some improvement as well. But no, Le President for me.
Yeah, lots of little niggles with Brain Power. Are you in agreement with the lads now?
Yeah, the one I actually like is Le President. Sorry, yeah, that's what the lad said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Le President. Yeah, he ran really well in his reappearance behind Silver Streak, who was just very well handicapped that day. He likes Cheltenham, likes good ground, and he's fit, so he's the bet in the race for me.
Okay, another big betting race, the 3 o'clock Unibet Greatwood Handicap Hurdle. Grade 3, we see Verdana Blue out again after winning the Elite Hurdle. What's the market come for, Niall? Any sort of strong fancies?
Yeah, sorry, just one sec. Verdana Blue is our 7-2 favourite. Western Rider 6-1. Silver Streak 7-1. Noob Negra 7-1. Charlie Parks 9-1. Storm Rising 9-1 and 10-1 bar. Strong fancy. I really fancied Ballymoy and he wasn't declared, so I was raging. But the one I've landed on since that is Vado Fort, who was third behind Ballymoy and Chepstow. He travelled into that race really nicely and just got tired, and I think he may have needed that. I always tend to go for the real obvious horse in this, like Verdana Blue. I think that's why I have such a bad record in the race. But on her, I'm not convinced Cheltenham is really her track, and the mark, it's a big ask for me. Vado Fort is an improving 5-year-old. I think that's exactly what you need to win this race, and he's a value each way option at 20-1.
Okay, did you say 9-1, Charlie Parks?
Yeah, Frank must have got hold of this. Yeah.
No doubt I'm going to eat my words here, but I can't believe that. Keels, are you going to call me silly?
What you can't believe is 9-1 instead of 99-1.
Yeah.
It should be 99-1. It's a loony.
Thank God for that.
It's a loony, isn't it? Yeah, I can't have Charlie Parks. No, he's clumsy as hell as well. You know, when he gets under pressure, he'll make a mistake. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think some reality needs to set in with Verdana Blue. She was getting £3 from a horse rated 147 last time and won by 2 1/4 lengths, and now she's running off 151 in a handicap. It's a completely different task altogether. She might be good enough, but you know, the handicapper only put her up to the £5 penalty she's got. Like, you know, I mean, that's all she's achieved, and she's hell of a short price for a race like this. The one I did like earlier in the week is Western Rider. I still like him.
Isn't he a bit tripless?
He might be a little bit tripless, but he might be. But a strong run race at 2 mile might just suit him down to the ground, and he does go well fresh. I think he'll. I think he'll be in amongst them. Silver Streak, as long as the ground stays fast, he's obviously got a fair chance as well. But he's launched himself up the handicap. Now Dan Skelton's interesting. He's got 3 runners in the race. And Newbie Nebra's been the one for all the money. But you know, I'm not sure that Fred Winter form, the 4-year-old form from last year, was all that strong anyway. And he looks well and truly short. And the one that interests me at a massive, massive price is called Not That Fleece. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the last word. He absolutely bolted up 2 starts early this season on you know, in May, sorry, on fast ground. They were tuppence halfpenny races. He then got beaten a handicap at Chepstow. No real reason for why he ran so badly. But last time out, he finished second to Seddon. Now, I know Seddon won easily, but Not That Fleece was giving him £10. Got beat 4.5 lengths. Seddon is going to go off favourite for the Grade 2 Novice Hurdle later on the card. If Not That Fleece is 50-1, running off a mark of 125 with a £10 claimer on board. He's going to be getting £30-odd from Verdana Blue. I just have a feeling that 50-1 just going to look a stupid price.
Interesting you say that. I actually spoke to Dan Skelton about his runners earlier, and I said, you know, Noob Negra is the one for the money, and he was quite positive on that, Not That Fleece, so interesting to see if that's reflected. Tom?
Well, I backed Noob Negra last year in the Fred Winton. He's just really highly regarded by Skelton. Well, last season he was anyway. I haven't heard any reports this year, but I presume it's still the same. First time wind up, 4-year-old. I don't know. He's a lot of improvement there. I'm not sure he will be good enough, but he's one to follow this season. There's loads in the race I really like, loads of horses. I like Western Rider. I think he's got a good chance, but Silver Streak, as I said, I think he's a really talented performer. Le President will hopefully boost the form half an hour earlier, and Silver Streak can rack up the hat-trick.
Okay. Moving on now to the 3:30 Sky Bet Supreme Trial Novices Hurdle. Keels, you mentioned it, Seddon likely to go off favourite here after winning at Stratford. Finished 12th in the Champion Bumper. That Champion Bumper form is working out really well. I think you've had the likes of the Big Bite and loads of others that finished down the field winning on their debut over hurdles. Did they leave you out to another one? So Niall, Seddon, solid favourite?
Yeah, he's our 15-8 favourite. Itchy Feet for Ollie Murphy is 9-4. Anytime Will Do is 9-2. LXR Den Nuts is 5-1. Colonel Custard is 7-1, and 2 for Gold is 14-1.
Can you see past Seddon?
Me, no. Yeah, I think he's pretty solid here. His trainer was suggesting after he won the last that he could be better than Somerville Boy. He gets weight off his main danger, Itchy Feet, and I think he'll take this comfortably. He could actually be interested for the Supreme as well. I think we're 25-1.
25-1 for the Supreme. Keels, would that be getting you excited?
I don't get excited about anti-post betting at this stage of the season. I am quite excited about Seddon though. I think he's a very decent horse, and yeah, we'll have a. I think something's going to have to be very, very good to beat him. I think they've always thought the absolute world of him, and he did travel very, very well in that Champion Bumper as well before things didn't go quite right for him. So yeah, very much the one to beat. Are
you going to be in agreement?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, Seddon's one of my favourite horses. Put him up as one of my 5 to follow this year, way back before the season started. Hacked up
Shameless plug.
Yeah, sorry. Well, Dostalfield just lost and that was in there. So, yeah, not going swimmingly for every horse in there. But no, he's a powerful traveller. Probably the best horse in this race. They love him, as Niall said. More to come. Great jumper. Don't see a negative.
Okay, moving on to Sunday, racing at Punchestown, Cork and Fontwell. We've got to talk about the Unibet Morgiana Hurdle Grade 1 at 2:15 Punchestown. Of course, Sam Crow taking on Faugheen. We've got Super Sunday in there. It's going to be a real stellar race. How do they bet, Niall?
Yeah, so Sam Crow is our 4-6 favourite. Faugheen is 9-4. Super Sunday is 11-2. Sharjah at 25. Wicklow Brave 33-1, and Tombstone is 50-1.
Okay, Keels, what do you make of Sam Crow beaten by Bedrock last time? Can he go on to win this?
It's funny enough, I was in here doing a postcast and I wanted to watch the race, so I thought I'd have a tenner on something so I can watch it on my phone. It just happened to be on Bedrock, so I was quite pleased. Right, this could be blasphemy to some, but is Sam Crow all that good? Is everyone getting massively carried away with him? I mean, he stepped up in class when he ran last year. I thought he was beat when he fell. I thought he wasn't going that well when he fell at the end of last season. He didn't travel that well last time. Didn't jump that well last time. He's not a 2-miler. I'm assuming that he was schooled over fences before they decided to keep him over hurdles. Was there a reason for that? Can he jump? Let's see. I'd imagine they might try fences after he gets beat on Sunday, because he will get beat on Sunday because he's not that good. Faugheen could be the one, but I mean, surely Super Sunday's a stupid price. He's just a rock-solid horse that runs his heart out every time. As ground, he'll go out, hopefully go out in front, make it a test, and see him off. Yeah.
I love Super Sunday. Great horse. TC?
Going to be playing the reverse forecast. Going to mix it up a bit here. I think Sam Crow and Super Sunday, they're the two, I think, to fight this out. Faugheen, I don't know, I think he's gone at the game. I know people will say, no, he's a 10-year-old and he won at the end of last season and he's back, but no, not for me. Sharjah, I don't think he's good enough. Back on the flat recently, didn't perform very well at all. Wicklow Brave, been competing in poor races. Sam Crow will bounce back and will be a lot better. I don't think he's an incredible horse, but I think he's good enough to probably win the average running of a Morgiana. But Super Sunday is obviously a very, very good horse, and will strip fit first time out and hopefully loom up on the outside as they turn for home, and everyone will be getting really excited as Robbie Power pushes him clear. Okay, now what do you make of Keels' comments on Sam Crow? Yeah, I disagree myself. I think he wins this. I wasn't overly disappointed in his reappearance. I'm sure he'll come on plenty for it. That's the vibes I was getting about it. He'd still be my pick for the champion hurdle. The training performance to get Faugheen to win this first time up over 2 miles, it will be monstrous. So I couldn't really have him. And Super Sunday, I do like him, but he might need the run. He has needed it in the past. So yeah, Sam Crow looks a certainty to me. Okay, any other fancies we want to talk about? Tom Collins? No real fancies, just the bumper on Sunday at Cheltenham. I think one horse to follow is Unwin VC, I think it's pronounced, the VC at the end, I'm not sure. Just watch that replay of his debut run. he was all over the gaff. Literally, he was going left, right. Jockey couldn't control him at all. But Bob Buckler's got a pretty decent horse on his hands. I think he'll struggle to win. I mean, there's a lot of good horses potentially in the race. McFabulous is one for Paul Nicholls. But Unwin VC, just watch that replay because he could be useful.
Okay, we'll do straight after this, Keels.
Yeah, on ITV on Sunday as well is the Southern National from Fontwell.
I thought you were going to say, like, I'm a celebrity or something. Yeah, who are you backing for that?
I've never watched any of that sort of nonsense. I don't do reality TV. It's a load of crap, isn't it?
Not even when you can bet on it?
No. There's other things I can bet on. And I just don't like sad Z-list people running around the jungle. Just don't do it with me. So there you go. Right, anyway, we go on to the, we're going to the Southern National. There was a race at Carlisle the other day, won by Looks Nout Like Brian.
Love that horse, but he can't really jump, can he?
Yeah, he can't really jump, but he won, and then he came out on a £4 high mark and stormed home by 10 lengths again. In second was Sky Pirate, who probably would have been second and given the young master a race just now. And in fifth was Loose Chips, who bolted up in a competitive Veterans Handicap chase at Sandown. In fourth was Shanro Santos. And he's very well handicapped on his old form. That's a good piece of form. He got dropped a pound. If those prices are correct, he's 10-1 with Paddy Power. I'd make him favourite. So you've got to get on.
Niall.
Yeah, just one horse. Same race as Tom, actually, the 4 o'clock Cheltenham, the bumper. I was just so impressed with McFabulous on debut for Paul Nicholls. I think it was at Chepstow. And I think he'll win here. And he definitely looks one to follow for the season for me.
Okay, if that's not enough tips to get you through the weekend, then I don't know what is. So that'll be it for us today. If you enjoy these shows, make sure you rate, review and subscribe wherever you're listening to us. Don't forget to listen to our weekly golf postcast every Wednesday and football tipping shows every Thursday. I'll be back on Monday to review the weekend action at Cheltenham, and we'll take a look at next weekend's racing at Haydock, where the big race is the Grade 1 Betfair Chase. Until then, best of luck with your bets and goodbye.
Introducing Paddy Power's Beat the Drop. We're giving every customer 30 days free entry and £1,000 up front. It's up to you to keep it. All you have to do is answer 10 questions correctly. Play now at beatthedrop.paddypower.com.